Hello, this is Dr. Darnise. Welcome back in. Today, I am talking to my Black women over 40 who have considered running away from that job because it's too much, right? For Black women who've considered running away from it all because the job is too much. So come on in. I want to talk to you about this. Many of you have been feeling that it's time to go, it's time to pivot, but you don't know. Most of us cannot just get up and walk up a job. We have responsibilities and all of that. But what we don't do is put together an actual strategy for leaving. And so I want to talk to you about, how it's time and to share some of my own story working in higher education as a professor for, almost 20 years. And so, let me just start by saying, when it's time. Like in this decade of our 40s, 50s, maybe even early 60s, where you can contemplate early retirement, you know that when you think about work, when you get to work, the kind of how it feels in your body, how it feels mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically to even be in your job. What are the things that you continually have to put up with that you're just like, you know what, at this point, I really can't take this anymore? Okay, so normally what happens is we just keep pushing through anyway. We just keep pushing through. As Black women, especially, we've been told you can't quit your good job. You better not quit your good job, right? You have your benefits and all of this. And so we feel like I'm not going to let these people run me off my job, even when it's stressful. Even though we're worried about it when we go home on Sunday, what they call the Sunday night dreads or whatever. It is not a good thing, my sister, to say, I'm not going to let them run me off my job. Now, we've thought that that meant that we were especially strong and that we can just endure and that we can just put up with. But how much longer do we need to do that? It is literally affecting our health and our well being. Now, stay with me to the end because I'm going to tell you how I'm helping us, how I'm helping Black women, right? If you really got to go, like I'm not trying to watch a whole video, just go to blackwomenatmidlife.com, blackwomenatmidlife.com, because I'm helping us get free. I'm helping us pivot. First of all, we have to understand that we can, because for many of us, we feel like we can't. Our hands are tied. That's not true. What we can't keep doing is going to jobs or staying in relationships that are toxic. I'll use that word, although I think the word is so overused these days. But in this case, I really do mean it. Situations that are so toxic that it is debilitating to us. So if you are in that situation, do you actually have an exit plan? Do you actually know what you can do? Because sometimes we're thinking so much about what we can't do that we don't think about what we can do. What can you start putting away? What is that dream that you had once upon a time? Is now the time to give that dream a go? And I can already hear people, but I don't know how. Where would I get the funding? Where would I? That's why I say blackwomenatmidlife.com, because I'm helping us get free. I'm helping us begin to think about what we can do. Because again, it's not a flex to say I'm not going to let them run me off my job. And as a higher ed professional, I really had that mindset for a long time. I really had that mindset. I'm not going to let them push me out even though I really needed to go. I mean, for my own sake, I needed to go. I really like being a professor. I love working with students, and I had, good rapport with students, and they liked me, and they always thought I was fun and funny in the classroom, although very serious when it came to them grades. But I had a good time in class. I enjoyed my classes. I teach religion and history. Had a good time in class. But what all else I was having to deal with on a regular basis, and for me, it was always like I didn't quite fit in my department in African American Studies at my university. I do religion, and so oddly enough, it was just always this weird kind of, you know, what are we going to do with her kind of thing, even though my classes were one of the most popular classes in the whole department. But anyway, I digress. What I want to come back to is knowing when it's time to go for you, knowing when it's time to go for you. And to help you think about the how, you can pivot into knowing, you know what, it is my season to go. It has been on my heart to go. It has become overwhelmingly difficult to be there. And when these people keep making my job difficult, maybe I should take them up on it. Because when I coach women, what I tell you is it is not going to get better there. You know why it's not going to get better there? It's because it's your time to make a move. And it is as if the whole universe is trying to get you to see, oh, it's time for me to go. Yes. So it's not going to be easy for you to stay. It's not supposed to be easy for you to stay because it's time to go and do something else. Okay, so I know you want to know how. And that's why I'm telling you, blackwomenatmidlife.com, because I'll be starting a new cohort. We're going to be a whole group of Black women, 40, 50 years old, looking at what we're going to do next and the how. Because I know it can seem overwhelming, right? So don't stay in a situation of I'm not going to let them run me off my job, or I'm just going to push through because I have a kid in college, or I'm going to push through because I'm close to retirement. Now, you'll know if you really need to that you won't be able to eat tomorrow if you don't go to that job. Now, if it's like that, then you're just going to have to stay there. But again, we can still put together a strategy. You're not trapped is my point. You're not trapped. There's a number of things out here that you can do that you probably just don't realize that you could do. But by having a community of like-minded women and myself as your coach, I help you really understand, oh, I could do this. Oh, I never thought I could do that. Yeah, that's what we do for each other. The other part of this video is I wanted to talk about how, well, one, Boston University has a new president, a Black woman. Boston University has named a Black woman as their new president. Her name is Dr. Gilliam. Not remembering her first name right now, but Dr. Gilliam. And I saw the headline and I was like, wow, it's hard out here. Higher education for Black women is tough. Higher education, I mean the college world, the world of academia. It's tough. So for those of us who have PhDs and we're at the, sort of a top of a heap in one way, in academia, we end up being at the bottom because that strong Black woman still applies and we're expected to be a workhorse and within a system that really is not trying to be changed. What the system or the academy wants us to do is come in and be a good figurehead and look good in certain positions, especially, positions that have something to do with diversity. So you can come in and be in those positions and look good, but if you're really trying to make something happen or do something different, then, you go from pet to threat pretty quickly, right? You know this expression, from pet to threat. At first, you were the pet because everybody loved you and they thought that you were a great addition and they just were so happy to have you. And then you go to threat because you start talking about the systems that need to change and how things could be so much better if the institution just put more resources towards, X, Y, Z. So many Black women find that they go from pet to threat. Oh, now they don't appreciate my intellect or my labor anymore. They just really want me to just do what they want me to do and the way that they want. And or clean up in the sense of something has gone, awry. And so they want you Black women to come in and like clean up a situation and make it better. And typically without the resources to actually clean it up. But anyway, kind of a separate story. Well, it's not a separate story. It is the reason why higher ed is toxic for a lot of Black women. And so when I saw this headline that Boston University has a Black woman president, I said, ooh, bless her heart, and I'm sending her prayers. Because we've seen in recent years where university has appointed a Black woman as president. She didn't last long because, again, pet to threat. And the conservative backlash in this country is really coming for what they perceive as wokeism. Conservatives in the country feel like if a Black person is in leadership, somehow that doesn't go together. And he or she, that Black person, only got that position because somebody is woke, because somebody is, I don't know, giving them favoritism or something like that. And so we end up in this situation where if you're a Black person in leadership, you automatically are under suspicion for being in a leadership position. Can't be that you just really are on your Black job. Can't really be that you actually deserve that position. So anyway, we see Dr. Gilliam, and I'm gonna be paying attention to, what the responses to her in that leadership, because right now she's in the pet situation. Everybody loves her. They're so happy to have her, and I wish her well. Now, interestingly, I just spent time with a colleague of mine who avoided, Black woman, scholar. She avoided the presidency of her university, and I'm not naming names for her own privacy. She avoided the presidency of her university because she said, "You'll never have me in that job." She has worked, she's a senior scholar, and she has worked to build her name and her scholarship and her reputation in such a way. She said, "Oh no, I want to just do my work," meaning her write the books that she wants to write and do her work in her own discipline. She said, "Oh no," because she already knows I'm not going to be in a situation where I'm saying, where I have to say, I'm not going to let them run me off my job, because she realizes that is a thankless job for a Black woman. Being president of a university sounds like it really is all that. But we can think about Claudine Gay from Harvard. She didn't last a year. They came for her. Um, I'm trying, Dr. Epps, I think her name was Joanna Epps. She was interim president at Temple University. She basically died on the job. Died on the job. I mean, at work, on a public stage, died. And they just kept going. They took her off, took her to the hospital, and they kept the event going. They didn't stop. Literally over her dead body, they kept going. So my colleague said, "Oh no." And she actually left her institution and took another position. She says, "I'm so thankful this other position opened up for me, because I did not want them at our institution to be coming for me to be in that position of president." She says, "I thought, they were starting to look at me to be president, and they were going to keep on." And so she said, "I didn't want to have to keep having those conversations, but they'll never get me in that position because it is thankless." And so I say all that to say that if it's time to make a change. When it's time, no matter if you're a person in a high position, and you think, "Oh, I should just stay because I have, great position. I make a good amount of money." Well, but what happened to your dreams? Is this really your dream? If it is really your dream and you're good, then you're good. But for those of you who are like, "No, I'm not good," and every Sunday night I am in a panic, driving to work, I'm like having heart palpitations. These people stress me out so bad. Or if you are in a position of saying, "I just am really ready to step into my next stage." Like, it doesn't have so much to do with the job. Maybe the job is not terrible, but you want to be able to step into your own dreams, right? At what point will you do it? At what point will you say, "My desire to pursue my own dream way outweighs anything else at this point"? That's who I'm talking to, right? In terms of coming to work with me and Black Women at Midlife and join the new cohort. So I'm going to put, the link in the description box, and you will be able to go to that link, go to the page, and you'll put in your information. You have to register to watch. This is an orientation video. And so, watching the video is completely free. So just go to that, blackwomenatmidlife.com, and you'll hear me talk some more about what that is. Anyway, so I just wanted to come on here and talk about when that job is too much, number one. Number two, to remind you that you can pivot, you can do something else, your dreams do matter, and that this is the time. This is the youth of our older years, right? This is the youth, because we still have energy and resources. By the time we get to be 70, maybe we won't have the same amount of energy or abilities. So let's do something now. Okay? Join me over there, Black Women at Midlife, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.